Okay, so I don't know how this is gonna sound, but I'm just gonna do a little trial run. Basically, I have a test in like literally like 20 minutes, and I'm on my way to like pick up my like blue book. I don't know what the fuck that is. I think I write in it and I turn that in to the teacher. I think that's how it works. But anyways, I have I wanted to come on today, literally as a yap session. I want to go over what I know, and I want to just tell you because I hear that's a good way to learn things. So let's do it. I'm in the elevator right now. First things first, my philosophy class is called Philosophy of Law. I don't really know much about philosophy, but I'm super interested in it, and it's a lot of the basis for what I record a lot of my content over. Anyways, I digress. Okay, so now I'm outside. Fuck it. All right, so what I studied for the past like minutes or like 3 hours, something like that, was over four main principles, four main theories, four main laws. The first one is natural law. The second one is positivism. The third one is realism. And then the fourth one is law as integrity. I've basically been going through these four, running different scenarios and figuring out what the definitions and how I can apply these things. Let me first start off by the definitions. The definition of law as integrity is basically Thomas Aquinas, I forgot how to say his name. He basically says that God created us, and because God created us, we're pretty cool people. Anyways, he also says that we should basically like abide our rules, kind of like based off like biblical terms, for instance, like the Ten Commandments, for instance, for like Catholics. That should be like kind of how we abide by our life, and that everybody kind of needs like the same things. He has saying 7 topics, but I don't really know the most of them off the top of my head. But yeah, that's basically it. God created us, and we're kind of like, we're meant to move on instinct. Cool. Okay. Now I'm going to say what some critics have said of natural law. Natural law, some critics of natural law basically say, okay, well, yeah, some things are instinctual, but that doesn't make them inherently good. For instance, some people may kill somebody to survive, for instance, if they're in a harsh environment or something like that. Anyways, they kill somebody and thus they're alive. Are they right for killing somebody? It's difficult, but that's like what people say. Also, like when it comes to something like rape, for instance, like Thomas argues that like reproduction is like something that every human being should need, but some people act on their lustful like inquiries, for their own good, for their own being. That's what critics say. All right, let's move on to the next one. Positivism. Positivism is basically, okay, basically positivists say that whatever like the law is, goes. Whatever the law says is how, whatever it says in the book, that should be how it's interpreted. Don't have like any like external moral applications to things. Whatever people say is the rule is correct. So for instance, if I live in a society where like killing somebody is morally wrong, then killing somebody is wrong, right? But if I live in a society where I say, okay, well, killing people is good, then killing people is good in that society. That's based off of positivist beliefs. They kind of like take out all the moral implications. All right, bet. Next one. Oh wait, critics. A lot of critics to positivism basically say, like, you can't basically just make the laws just straight off of like, I guess, facts, for instance, or like just straight off of like just laws. There should be some type of moral implications to whatever you're doing. For instance, like I can't just say like killing is good, thus I just start killing everybody, That's what mainly the critics say. All right, third one, realism. At first, I was a little confused because I thought positivism and realism are basically the same thing, but I've come to realize that they're not. I'm talking about legal realism. Legal realism basically is saying that for the good of humanity, if I was a judge, for instance, is my ruling going to be good for society? If I rule, for instance, that this person is a murderer, would that be good for society? If it is, then okay, perfect. Based off my realistic beliefs, I'm doing good. If somebody is benefiting, but what they're doing wrong and unjust, even by the book of law, it doesn't matter because the society would probably take it as bad. Thus, as a judge, I would be like, all right, let's rule against this. My one line consensus is for the good of society. If something doesn't benefit the society, then it should not be transcribed and not be instantiated. All right, bet. Fourth one. Fourth one is integrity, or law as integrity. So law as integrity is basically saying that, let me give you an example. Let me say I'm an author, for instance. Whenever I'm creating a world, I have to follow a storyline. So whatever my story of my book is, I take it for what it is, and then I also transcribe based off that story. But let's say I'm part of a series for the novel I'm creating. I have to take into account all of the series events that have occurred. Basically, law as integrity is basically, from a legal standpoint, I'm looking at the laws that have already been instantiated and also the case that I'm looking at. For instance, let's say for instance, like a boy kills somebody, but that person was like abusing him or something. You know, the law would say, okay, killing people is bad, but because he was being tortured, for instance, like he should probably get a lesser sentence because of his harsh environment. That's basically me looking at like the environment that I came from and also the law itself. I still convict him, but at a lesser sentence because of the situation he has been put through. Those are the four main topics. Let me go through the critics. So first off, I forgot about realism. Let's say somebody is benefiting from something. Technically, they should receive something, but because society deems it as wrong, they don't receive it. They're mostly like positivists will be like, well, they should still receive it, you know? That's like a critique. And then for law's integrity is basically saying like, it's very subjective. A lot of people would be integritous to some degree. And in some people's interpretations, they would misuse their interpretation to push their own narratives. It's just the speculation that comes around it that makes it difficult. Anyways, that's my yaps. I appreciate it.